Social Security disability benefits and working at the same time. Can you do it? What are some of the things you need to watch out for if you do it? So my name is Ed Weir. I'm a former manager of the Social Security Administration. Worked for the ran the third busiest office in the country. I've helped millions of people throughout the country. I've helped them file hundreds of thousands of applications, deal with CDRs, the whole 9 yards, and ball of wax. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what it is to work with Social Security, and I'm going to focus on disability, Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI. Working while receiving SSI is a completely different animal. So I'll make another video on that in the future. So, and I don't want to confuse the two. And if I do it in the same video, it'll get kind of confusing. So this is only for SSDI. And usual, these are live, completely live, because if you're new to the channel, I talk about the topic of the day. And today should take probably a little bit longer, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm going to open up the floor for all the people that have questions. So if you have questions, make sure you type your questions in the chat. And then as soon as I talk about working and receiving disability benefits, then I will answer all your questions as time allows. All right, so let's get right into it. Let me get everything. Okay, here we go. All right, so Social Security and working again. So the SSI part I will talk about in another video, and that also includes the PASS program. I'll talk about that in another video as well. And some people wanted me to talk about the ABLE accounts. I'll do that in another video. I've got close to 400 videos and doing more and more every day. So make sure you subscribe and keep up to date on all the changes and updates and all the programs to make sure you're getting all the money you're entitled to. All right. So if you are working and collecting Social Security disability benefits, you can do that. A lot of people think when you're collecting Social Security disability, you can't work at all. That's incorrect. You can work and your benefits can continue. Your Medicare will continue, your Medicaid can continue, and they can also provide help with education, training, rehab, vocational rehab. There's a program Social Security has. It's called the Ticket to Work, and the Ticket to Work, I put the website there. Choose work at ssa.gov, and they can provide free vocational rehab, training, job search assistance, other support. And people are always stressed out about CDRs, continuing disability reviews. And when you're in the Ticket to Work program, there will be no medical reviews for you while you're doing that Ticket to Work program. So, so I would definitely, recommend you at least call them, and they can help you out. It's a organization that the Social Security Administration contracts with to provide help to those on disability. People are looking for a ticket to work, maybe try to go back to work, see if they're able to go back to work even though they have a disability, because Social Security defines disability as the inability to work. But just because you were unable to work a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago with new medications and surgery and different situations, different types of jobs, maybe something you didn't do before, but jobs are always changing. Maybe you can go back to work now, and Social Security, to save the trust fund and for you to make more money and be productive and all that kind of stuff. They want to provide all the resources they can to see if you can go back to work. So the Ticket to Work, that's one of the organizations that Social Security contracts with to help you do that. All right, but in terms of the actual work and how much you can make and how long can you make it and all the rest of it, the first thing is the trial work period. And I like that name, trial work. Okay, I'm disabled, because you can still, the guy that started Social Security Administration, guy named FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he had polio, he was in a wheelchair, and he was working. So he was disabled, but in terms of Social Security, regulations, he was not disabled because he was able to work, being the president of the United States for a few terms, right? So you can work during this trial work period. Try to see if you can work. And how long can you do it? You can do it for 9 months. And what a lot of people misunderstand is it's not 9 consecutive months, it's 9 cumulative months within a 60-month period. So you can try to work for a month and it didn't really work out, and then 6 months later you try another month, didn't really work out, and or it did, you made some money. Any month that you earn over $1,110, this is different than SGA, substantial gainful activity, which this year in 2024 is $1,550. This is a trial work period trigger month. So if you make under $1,110, then it's not an issue whatsoever. It doesn't trigger a trial work period or anything. But if you make over that, or self-employment over that, or self-employment is always strange. If you work 80 hours a month, that also triggers a trial work period month. So let's say you make $1,111. That's a trial work period for that particular month. So you saw how able to work, and if you're able to work, you keep doing it and keep doing it, and you can do that 9 months over a 5-year period. And then once you've exhausted those 9 months, then you go into what's called the extended period of eligibility. So, and that is a 36-month time frame. And during that time frame, any money, any earnings you have over SGA, substantial gainful activity, Social Security withholds that month. So your Social Security check stops because of work. $1,550, and that's over a 3-year period. And if you're blind, kind of regulations and limits are almost always a little bit different for SSDI and SSI and all the rest of it. And so for the extended period of eligibility, SGA is $2,590 if you're blind. So you've got the 9-month trial work period. And then once you've exhausted that, you go into 36-month of extended period of eligibility. And it's always important to notify Social Security of anything. And I would recommend go down to the 99-cent store, get a little notebook, and record everything. Anytime, okay, this, February of 2024, 2025, I made $1,112. So I was over that month, and jot it down, and then call the Social Security Administration, call your local office, call the 800 number. You can actually report wages online and put it in there and say, hey, on this date, on this time, I called the 800 number. I talked to John. I told John I went over this month or last month, and he said, okay, that's probably going to be your trial work period. And I said, good, I got it. And then you go on with your life, but you've got that journal. And that way, if anything happens in the future, they decide, Social Security decides to do something strange, you've got documentation. Hey, I talked to this person on this date. I talked to this person on this other date. I told them I was working, everything like that. So that'll definitely build up your case. If they do end up stopping your benefits because of work, and then let's say, you go to work and your benefits stop, and a year, 2 years, 3 years, you stop working because your disability comes back and it's just aggravating, and the medication is no longer working, or whatever the case may be, then you can go back to Social Security and get your benefits restarted. It's called an expedited reinstatement. Internally, we called it EXRs, and Social Security employees hate EXRs because it's funny. It says on the Social Security websites you don't have to apply again for you kind of, it's, yeah, I don't know why they say that, because the EXR, the expedited reinstatement paperwork, I guess it's technically not an application, is more difficult than anything else. But within 5 years, it's more difficult for the Social Security employee, which is not really your issue, but it's their issue. But I just want to kind of prepare you when you go in and ask for an EXR, an expedited reinstatement. They're going, oh my gosh, this is going to take forever. But that's because the Social Security system in that particular process just is just terrible. Anyway, um, so if your work stops um, within 5 years because you can no longer do it, then you can. If it has to be so that for the same disability, that's a lot of people make that mistake. If you get a new disability, then you have to go through the whole process again. But if you had X disability and you worked and your benefits stopped, and then a few years later, within 5 years, the same disability kept you from working again, stop you from working, then you can file an expedited reinstatement. And sometimes they can even start your benefits immediately. They can give you provisional payments, as they called it. So get your benefits started immediately while you're waiting for the whole thing to kind of process through the bureaucratic system. What about Medicare? That's always a big concern. So if I go back to work, will I lose my Medicare? And because now I'm this age, I won't be able to get go back to get Obamacare, maybe not get the subsidies, and whatever the case may be. If your benefits stop because of earnings, so your Social Security benefits stop because you earn too much, and you still have that disability, your free Medicare Part A will continue for 93 months after your trial work period. Okay. After that, you can buy Part A, but I've never heard of anybody, going past the 93 months. So your Part A will continue, the free Part A, because people say, wait a second, Part A is free for everybody. No, if you didn't, if for people that didn't pay into Social Security enough, not enough quarters, the 40 quarters, 10 years, they can actually buy Part A. It's like $400 or $500 or something. It's crazy expensive. But yeah, so you can continue Part A for free for 93 months after your trial work period. And then if you want to continue it after it, then you have to pay for it. Medicare Part B, you just continue to pay for Part B and your Medicare will continue. So again, this is if your monthly Social Security check stops because of work and you still have that disability. Then you don't have to worry about Medicare. Your Medicare will continue. And there's one thing I want to add in there. It's Social Security, we call it IRWE's, impairment related work expenses. They're work expenses related to work. So if you are getting close to an SGA or close to that trial work period trigger in terms of earnings, but part of the money that you earn, you have to spend because of your disability. You need a taxi or a wheelchair or vocational counseling, or there's certain other expenses that can be kind of deducted from that. So if with Social Security, as I always say in all my videos, I know everybody here is a subscriber and you've liked and shared and all that. So everybody knows I always say there's exceptions, the exceptions, the exceptions on everything. So anytime you're close to a threshold of money or time or anything like that, always just request that application, file that claim, whatever the case may be, because it seems like there's always exceptions. Oh, there's okay, you're a little bit over. Oh, no problem. There's a $20, we set aside $20, and so that doesn't worry about it. And then we've got these IRWEs, and then we've got this other thing called unsuccessful work attempt. And so there's all kinds of different exceptions, the exceptions. So always request. And if you're unclear about anything, that's why I do lives on a regular basis. Come join my live like you're doing now, unless you're watching this recording. All right. So again, always report though. Always report and always document that reporting. So when you start working, when you stop working, if your duties change or something like that at your work, if your hours change, if your pay changes, if you started paying expenses, You can report via the phone, mail, in person. Go onto the SSA account. Always set up an SSA account. You can do reporting wages online, and all the rest of it. Again, Social Security. There's some out there that TikTokers and YouTubers and all those, they kind of build their channel by fear, and that, oh, Social Security is surveilling you and spy on you, all this kind of stuff. And I'm sure you've been down to a local Social Security office. This is a 27-year low in terms of staffing. Social Security just doesn't have that many employees. In my office, it was the third busiest office in the country, and we had the OIG, Office of the Inspector General. We had what, two or three OIG people that worked our district, and actually it was our district, which is included two other offices. There was only three people. So yeah, they're just usually what happens. You've got a neighbor that kind of drops the dime on you, or an ex-spouse or something, and they say, oh yeah, this person's working. And so yeah, but Social Security really doesn't have that time to be out there in the car, the black helicopter or something like that, spying on people, contrary to some YouTubers out there that say that. But you just report, and do the whole journal thing, and do what you can, because Social Security, they do want you to go back to work. If you're able to work, go out there and try it. If you can't work, then you can't work. Then you just go ahead and get your disability benefits. And as long as you stay on those thresholds, people call me all the time, and YouTube comments and say, little craft thing, I'm doing all of this. As long as you're under the SGA, the substantial gainful activity. But one thing I would caution, yeah, I wouldn't go right up to the line, because that's kind of a red flag. Yay, for this year is $1,550, and every single month you say you earn exactly $1,550. That's kind of a flag that person is really limiting their work. So I would stay about $100, $200 under that. Every now and then, but I would stay under $200. That way, no red flags go up. So, all righty. So that is working and receiving disability benefits. So now we are going to, wow, this only took 17 minutes, so that's not too bad. So let's go ahead and open it up to all questions about retirement, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, anything and everything. Okay, let's see here. Can you go back to school while receiving SSDI like college? Absolutely, absolutely. Yep, there's no limitations on going back to school at all. Highly recommended. I'm a university professor as well, so I always recommend going back to school, no matter how late in life. Does the training and then income affect my disability? Yep, just watch yep, just repeat what we just talked about. My name is, I was married June 1987, divorced 97. My husband is deceased. Am I entitled to my husband's benefits? So if you were married to him when he passed, you don't have to do the whole 10 years thing, because you were married to him when he passed. But but you were divorced. And unfortunately, you did not make the 10 years. June 87. Yeah, you missed it by what, 16 days. So yeah, it had to be 10 years. Unless you're in a common law state, and you can add some of that common law time on there. But yeah, but you had a definitive, marriage and divorce, it sounds like. So 63 watching and just 17 thumbs up. Yes. All right. So please, everybody, thumbs up. That's how we teach this stupid algorithm how important stuff like this is to people out there that are struggling. So please subscribe and all that. I saw this question in a previous video and never got it answered. So the question is, if you are a caregiver to a disabled person and they receive SSDI, can the caregiver collect SSDI? No. Not from Social Security. Some counties have some programs like that, but nothing from Social Security. I max out Social Security each year in a physical job, but my hip is giving me issues. I haven't sought medical advice yet. I'm 62 and may apply for disability around 63. What chance of approval? Yeah, I mean, it's I've seen all kinds of things approved. I've taken hundreds of thousands of disability claims, and sometimes I'm like, wow, this is an easy slam dunk approval, and then it comes back denied. And I'm a doctor, but I'm not that type of doctor. So, but apply. And I did a video on this a few days ago. It's called a rib dib. So if you're, 62, and you want to go and file for disability, I would definitely file for disability. If your disability keeps you from working and your disability is going to last for 12 months or longer, then definitely file. But if you need money in the meantime, there is rib dib. So you can file for the disability application, and the same exact time you file for the disability application, you can file for retirement, early retirement, and start getting that money in while you're waiting for your disability to be approved, because disabilities unfortunately take, way, way, way too long, 6 to 9 months nowadays. All right, let's see what other kind of questions we got here on other platforms. Are benefits counted in that 1550, for example, monthly company pays life insurance premiums? Good question. Yeah, so it's gross wages. So if they count that as your gross wages and then they take it out that whatever after that, then that's counted as your gross wages. So, but if they pay for something on the side and then your gross wages is under 1550, then yeah, so it's gross wages to you. I keep hearing that Social Security benefits will decrease. Is that true? Nobody knows. And again, that's a whole bunch of clickbait out there, people fear mongering and stuff. If enough people go out there and poke their politicians with a sharp stick and tell them how important Social Security is to Americans since 1935, and they want it to be around for when their children and grandchildren retire, then nothing will happen and everything will be hunky dory. But if we don't do our job and go out there and make sure politicians do their job, then who knows what's going to happen. I agree. Thank you. You're amazing for doing this. Thank you. You're welcome. Good time. Hello. I took care of my ex-husband for years. Okay, that's just, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Social Security has nothing like that. I wish they did, because yeah, caregivers, there should be something along those lines. Yeah. Someone said that on 9-month trial work period, you can make as much as you can. That is correct. Then after 9 months, that's when you need to start calculating, not going over the 1550. Is that true? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. I usually add that little part where it's like, yeah, on trial work period, you can make $1 million a month. And yeah, I usually exaggerate it to kind of bring it home. So I talk about the triggered month where a trial work period is triggered at $1,110, but I should have, gone the other side. Yes, thank you very much for keeping me on track. So in a trial work period month, you can make $1 billion a month, and it doesn't affect anything. So for 9 months, you can make $9 billion, and you're good. And your benefits won't be withheld. So thank you for reminding me to exaggerate like that. You missed questions from 4 people above. Oh, did I? Let's see here. Saw this question. Do they do the training? Can you go to college? No, that's all I got. Yep. So I don't see anything else. I will wait for your video on working while on SSI to ask my questions. I cannot wait to see it. I am anxious to get started. I just want to make sure I'll have all correct. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to do one maybe tomorrow on whether Social Security is a Ponzi scheme and some other stuff. So got a whole bunch of stuff lined up. What does Section 1835 of the Social Security Act mean? Denied twice, and this act was listed as a reason. I'm not sure. 1835. Yeah, usually they put section whatever, which says about working or which says about this or insured status. So I'd have to check to see what that section is. Does filing spousal benefits affect your Social Security and SSI? Um, so filing spousal benefits is Social Security. Um, so yeah, I just did a little short video on this. If you're receiving disability and your spouse starts their benefits, or you have an ex-spouse that turns 62 and their benefits are over twice your benefit amount, you can collect spousal benefits. Spousal benefits or surviving spouse benefits while you're receiving disability. And it's called a dual entitlement. So you're entitled to disability on your own record and you're entitled to benefits on another record. So it just adds on top of what you're already receiving. So it doesn't affect it. SSI, yes. If you're receiving the max from SSI, $943, and then all of a sudden you file for spouse benefits and you get $1,500, then your SSI stops. Yes. And I just did a short video on this. I'm doing a whole bunch of short little videos to answer your question. So if you answer a question in chat, then I found it easier and it gets out to more people if I just do a quick 1 minute short. So I'm doing about 20 or 30 of those every month and I'm putting them out. So, but yeah, for SSI, if you are receiving SSI, which is a welfare-based program, and you have any other money out there in the world, an IRA or a 401 or a life insurance or survivor benefits or own benefits on your own record, you have to file for them. You have to get those. That's part of getting SSI. And one of the things it is what it is. If you're receiving SSI and then you turn 62, they make you file for your retirement benefits, your early retirement at 62. And you're saying, but I wanted to wait so I could get more money, when I was my full retirement age so I could live the rest of my life. Yes, I understand that. But unfortunately, they say, yeah, you have to file early. And you're like, that's going to reduce me for the rest of my life. Yes. But SSI is a welfare-based program and it comes out of a different pot of money. Just SSI comes from general revenue, and Social Security, retirement, spouse, all comes from the trust fund. So yeah, unfortunately. The Imaginator, Social Security will come to an end if they ever figure out a way to make it work. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we definitely need to do something. I've talked about that a few times. The Wall Street, the Wall Street guys have been wanting, those trillions of dollars of trust funds and all that money coming in. Yeah, they want to take that money and gamble it big time on Wall Street. And so they pay politicians and on both parties, both sides. So yeah, they've been chomping at the bit forever. And they realized, they tried to, privatize Social Security several times over the decades. And we always slap them and say, nope, not today. So they've taken the long game and now they're eroding trust in the system. They're, destroying customer service by not funding it. So everybody just gets fed up with it. And then they, get these internet rumors out there. It's all going to be gone in the future. So don't worry about it. Give it to us and, we'll take care of it. When we invest it and we make a lot of money, we'll make tons of commissions. When we lose a bunch of money, you will suffer. We'll still make the commissions though. Josie Francisco, can I apply for Social Security and SSI at the same time? Social Security told me that I might be able to get $500, $600 more or less. Yes, absolutely. Another common thing that, yes, actually, it's automatic. When you apply for particularly like disability benefits or even retirement benefits, Social Security employees are supposed to address what we call both programs, Title II and Title 16. Title II is regular disability, retirement survivors. SSI, Title 16 is the welfare-based program. If you apply for disability and your disability benefits, if you're approved, are only going to be $400, then they also take an application for SSI, supplemental security income. And because the max you can get on that for this year is $943. And so they start asking you questions about your income and resources. And they say, okay, do you have $2,000, over $2,000 in assets? You say no. Do you have any other income coming in? Are you married that has any? No, no. Okay. They also do your SSI. But during the SSI, if you say, oh yeah, I've also got a $15,000 in a 401k, then they immediately deny you for the SSI application. And that's where a lot of people freak out, is because they go in and file for disability, and a week later they receive a letter that says they're denied. And it's not a denial for the disability, it's denial for the SSI, welfare-based program of the disability. The other part of the disability, the SSDI, the Social Security Disability Insurance, they're probably still moving ahead and sending it up, and to get the medical decision and everything. But the SSI, because you've got your spouse works, or you've got some other money or whatever, that was denied because income or resources. So yes, apply, apply, apply. Explain to me, as long as I stay under 25,000, the Social Security Administration has asked me to, I am okay to draw and work at the same time. Yeah, for early retirement, $22,320. As long as you stay under that, you are good. Apparently, you never see the questions that are posted before you go live. Really? Huh. I've been telling people to post them before I go live, and that way they're at the top, and I can't see them. Maybe it's just on this the app I use to do all my fancy thingies. Sorry about that. So for the people that asked questions before we started, go ahead, do me a favor, cut and paste them, and I will 100% get to them. Let's see. A friend at work told me that Social Security Administration penalized him for life for going without insurance last year. Yes. If you do not sign up for Part B when you're first eligible to, after 24 months of being on disability, or you reach 65 years old, if you don't sign up for Part B when you're supposed to, then you are penalized 10% for every 12 months you don't have it, forever and ever and ever, ever, ever. That is a fact. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, Keith and Karen. Okay, I will 100% make sure I get those questions answered. I apologize for that. Yeah, I got other ones that I saw before the whole thing started, so it's strange. All right, so thanks for letting me know. Okay, this is live, right? I know you addressed this. If someone collected Social Security at 62 and now 67, 68, they can earn as much as they want and not be penalized. Correct. If they collected benefits early at 62 and now they are hit their full retirement age, they can make $1 billion a month, and Social Security doesn't care. But remember, the good thing is, your benefits are recalculated every year based on your high 35 years. So if you're, your full retirement age and you go to work and you make some money, and that's one of your high 35 years, then once you notify the IRS, and the IRS notifies Social Security looks at your earnings for last year and says, is this one of the high 35 years? Oh yeah, it's one of the high 35 years for this person. So they kick out one of the low ones, stick in this new one, recalculate, and your benefits are increased. And it's a beautiful thing. Quick question. My first benefit payment is due in my bank account on July 10th for June. What are the odds of it being there? Yeah, if very good. I mean, it really depends if what type of, if it was just a regular retirement or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, but if they told you that, then shouldn't be an issue. Right? You only see them after YouTube starts. Huh, that's strange. I got some other ones previous days that I saw them. So anyway, Elaine, the letter I got from the Social Security Administration said I could make 25,000. Yeah, the annual earnings limit this year for 2024 is $22,320. That's $1,860 a month for early retirement. So between 62 and your full retirement age, that's how much you can make. The year you turn your full retirement age, it changes. The year you turn your full retirement age this year is $59,520. So $59,520, and they only look at the money before you hit your full retirement age. So if your full retirement age is in July of the year, starting July, $1 billion a month doesn't matter anymore. All right, let's see. If you only have 33 points in work history, is there any way of getting SSDI? Not really. It depends on your age. For younger workers, if you're young, 20s or 30s or something like that, possible you can get disability benefits. But yeah, if you're older, then yeah, you wouldn't be able to do it. I'm gonna have to do a video on that Social Security disability for younger people that they don't necessarily need 10 years. Social Security disability mental exam says my mother has anxiety disorder. What does this mean? Yeah, so I would talk to her about that. Do you know about Medicaid spin down? Yeah, spin down, pretty much SSI has a spin down, Medicaid has a spin down. It's basically you would qualify for this benefit. However, you've got too much in the bank or you've got too much in a 401k or whatever like that. So once that money is gone and you're under the resource limit, then come on back and show us that you spent that money down. All right. My daughter was murdered. Wow. And I have custody of her children. What do I need to do? All right. Wow. Sorry to hear that. So the the children definitely need to file for survivor benefits. Number one, if your daughter worked and paid into Social Security, then the children would be eligible for survivor benefits. If not, then if you are receiving retirement or disability benefits, the children can receive, it's called auxiliary child benefits. Um, and but you would have to adopt them, or both of their parents have to be deceased or disabled. So they would ask about the father there. So I would definitely check that out. And again, there's many exceptions there, but I would definitely make an appointment with Social Security and see if your daughter was insured. And if so, then yeah, file for survivor benefits. I will start receiving Social Security in July when I turn 65. How much am I allowed to be So yeah, allowed to work then $22,320. And then once you hit your full retirement age, you can make all the money you want. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Let's see, mom and dad. When will they announce the amount of earnings limit for next year? It should increase, correct? Yeah, it increases, pretty much every year. It'll be yeah, they do it pretty much everything about the same time, October-ish. That's when the COLA and all that stuff is announced, and people are forecasting what the COLA will be. I think it's just all clickbait because we don't know until October, because the numbers, what they do is the third quarter of the year, they compare with the third quarter of last year, and then whatever that increases. So whatever is happening now has no relevance whatsoever. But more clickbait out there. So Linda, all right. Found the Social Security calculator on my Social Security account page that will calculate Social Security amount if you stop work at age whatever, but delay applying until and how it affects benefit amounts at FRA. Okay, cool. Yeah, those calculators on the Social Security website are probably the closest you're going to get. But again, there's always exceptions, and you'll never get a 100% perfect number of your benefit amount until you actually file a claim. That's the definitive one. And even I would, with a grain of salt, listen to. So when you go in there and file a claim for retirement or disability or something like that, and they tell you right off. I used to never tell people, almost never. Well, simple retirements was easy. But anything that involved any type of calculations, I'd always want to triple check my work. So, and you can't do that if you're on the phone with someone or someone's right there across the desk. So, you know, people tell people, okay, you're going to receive $2,147. And then when that money doesn't come, then people are, okay, wait a second. This is how much they said, and how come it's different? So it's not, it's not 100% correct until they do the actual calculations back at their desk and run it through the system and triple check everything. So yeah, I hesitate. Simple retirement is, super. Yeah, I used to tell people that amount, but anything else, um, I would take with a grain of salt until you got the letter. Once you get the letter, the computer generated letter that this is how much it is going to be your bank account July 10th, then yeah, the letter is the definitive number. All right, let's see here. That's all the people I missed. If you made above the cap your entire career, are you entitled to collect Social Security? Above the cap in terms of earnings over was it 100 over 156,000 stuff like that? Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Tiny home cooking. All right. I'm told I'm on disability, that I cannot work or I will lose my medical benefits. Yeah. I live on a tiny income, but they don't care if we survive. Um, all right. So you're on disability. So I'm thinking maybe you're talking about SSI disability, and the medical benefits are your Medicaid. If that's the case, again, I'm going to do a video on that on SSI in the future. And you can make a little bit of money on the side. But yeah, I'll do a longer video on that because there's SSIs, yeah, so many exceptions and different exclusions. But yeah, so you're probably on SSI and your Medicaid. The government considers disabled as just that. So are you not disabled? Yeah, again, it's Stephen Hawking's. He was disabled, but he was able to work. So it's if you're able to work through your disability, then Social Security, again, Social Security defines disability as the inability to work. Karen, I started Medicare at 65, dual eligible Medi-Cal was the supplement and no advantage plan. Now ineligible for, yeah, supplements. Medi-Cal was the supplement. Okay. I see. Medi-Cal was the supplement. Okay, I'm thinking about a Medigap plan. Now ineligible for Medi-Cal, would I be able to sign up for a Plan G because never had supplement or advantage? California is strange. You know that they don't even call Medicaid Medicaid. They have to call it Medi-Cal, which confuses everybody. Medical and Medi-Cal, medical. It's like, wait, okay, no dash in there. I would talk to somebody that is licensed and contracted in California, a Medicare insurance broker. If you don't know anybody, I've got Medicare insurance brokers that I know and trust that work California, and they can check to see if that is an option for you. And they'll give you, Plan N or Plan G, whichever one you like, give you your options and you decide. So you can just email me and tell me your name, phone number, the state, and tell me what you're looking for there, or you can call me and leave a message, and I can have someone reach out to you and give you all your options, and that's 100% free and no obligation. Per my understanding, if I have money from my 401k, I will be disqualified for SSI in addition to my SSA. So if so, is it possible to just withdraw my 401k and hold, but it's still money you have? So yeah, for SSI is a welfare-based program. So if you've got, any type of resources over $2,000 or $3,000, depending if you're married, then you're not qualified for the welfare-based program. If you take out that money and, pay off your house or, buy a new car, then yeah, that's not an issue. Because SSI and Medicaid in most places like that don't count cars and your primary residence. I was turned down two after I got a diagnosis of congestive heart failure. Wow. So always, if you disagree with the decision, appeal, file that reconsideration, the 561, super easy. I go through all the details in my videos on disability. The Social Security Administration told me to go back to work. LOL. Yeah, that's. But if you disagree, you have the right to file a reconsideration. Does my doctor have to give me authorization to go back to work? I have epilepsy, and my doctor filled out. Yeah, it's not really a Social Security question I can help you with. Can I work and collect SSDI? Yep, I just watched the first 17 minutes of the video I did today. Is the statement on your account that says if you were disabled right now, you may have enough recent work and you could receive X amount, fairly accurate? Yeah, it's yeah, fairly accurate. It's as accurate as you're gonna, get without doing the actual application. Yes. The ones in the future, as I always talk about, is, if you're 50 years old and you look at your statement online and it says, hey, when you reach your full retirement age, you get $3,000. And then you say, oh, cool, $3,000. I think I can live on that. So I think I'll just stop working now for the next 17 years. Then that's, yeah, that $3,000 is not going to be $3,000 probably, because what happens is they take your current work and they project it forward and they say, okay, hey, you made $50,000 last year and you're probably going to continue to make $50,000 until you hit, your retirement. So that's how they come up with the $3,000. So if things change like that in your life drastically, then yeah. What qualifies as disability? Any condition that prevents you from working, and that will last 12 months or end in death. And thing that a lot of people miss money on is they say, well, I know there's tens of thousands of people out there that are disabled, not working, and they're not filing for disability benefits because they think they have to wait for 12 months. I haven't been disabled for 12 months, and a couple more months I'll be disabled for 12 months, and then I can go ahead and apply for Social Security benefits. Please, plus press subscribe, like, share, so these people get this information, because that is 100% incorrect. It's going forward. So if you stopped working yesterday because of your disability, you told your boss two weeks ago, see, yeah, I just because of my congestive heart failure or whatever the medication I take because of my disability or whatever, I just can't do it anymore. So here's my 2 weeks notice. And I've taken disability claims from people. They come in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I say, when is the last time you worked? And they say about 15 minutes ago. I just stopped working. Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and do the application. So, and but is your disability going to last 12 months or longer? Yes. And I've also taken disability applications for people that come in and say, what's your disability? They say, I'm pregnant. It's okay. In every state except for Florida, maybe, that is not a disability that's going to last 12 months or longer. But I'd say you're going to be denied because it's not a disability that lasts 12 months or longer. But they adamantly say, I don't care what you think. I want to file an application. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. So it's our job to take the application. So we take the application and deny it. But they need it for something else. They need the denial, the Social Security disability denial for their workers' comp or some other private insurance or whatever. So and those are the things that work into the formulas for X amount of people are denied on disability, and then lawyers pick that up and, hey, all these people are denied for disability. Well, some people aren't disabled, some people are broke their arm and they come in, and but lawyers use that as scare tactics to, okay, I'm not going to talk about lawyers anymore. They're so litigious. Okay, delete that last part, please. This is live. That's right. You say the workers are supposed to sign you up. Come to Iowa. They have all informed workers here. Something. Workers are supposed to sign you up for what? Let me see. I'm interested in what he says. They completely wiped out my entire retirement by telling me the wrong information. Completely right. Yeah. Wow. Wonder what that was. I wonder how they wiped out your retirement by giving you wrong information. Yeah. Sorry to hear that. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Here's some more questions. LC. Thank you, Ed. Um, thank you, Imaginator. Let's see. Can you get SSDI and Social Security disability at the same time? I just started watching. Um, SSDI and Social Security disability are the same thing. I'm on SSDI, but they will not allow me to work. I'm 65. Said I can't get retirement until 67 months. I could do something, sit at a desk, answer phones. They said no, I'll lose Medicare. Yeah, no, that's 100% incorrect. You probably talked to someone at the front window that was just hired last week. Unfortunately, because of the 27-year low of staffing at Social Security, if they're able to hire anybody, it sounds like they're just putting those people at the window and yeah, with no training. But yeah, you can go on to the Social Security website and there's a pamphlet called Working While Disabled, Disability Working While You're Disabled. And it explains everything exactly like I did the first 17 minutes of this video, basically word for word. It's common policy. So if someone says that, you print off that pamphlet, or you tell them, go back and grab this pamphlet for me, because they'll have paper pamphlets there, and say, okay, what does this say? Oh, that you can work and receive disability. That's right. So they need to do better training. Should you file for disability in the office or in line? Yeah, whatever's good for you. I personally like filing for it online. But make sure you watch my 4 videos on disability. It'll go through the whole process and give you a whole bunch of tips, tricks, and secrets of how to, improve your chances of getting it approved. Improve your chances of getting approved. But the reason I like filing it online is it's less pressure and you have more time, because Social Security employees are basically given an hour to do a disability claim. A retirement claim about 30, 45 minutes, but a disability claim about an hour. So they kind of rush, and and you might miss something. So what I recommend is grab yourself a cup of coffee, put all of your prescription bottles there at your desk, get all your doctor's names and addresses and phone numbers and all this type of stuff, and just sit there and then open it up and do on a disability, and then you can write whatever you want and spend all your time and double check. And so that's how I recommend, after you watch my videos on the tips, tricks, stuff to watch out for, your doctor's addresses, for medical records. So watch that. Yeah, that'll help you out. Why does Social Security have a list of disabling conditions? Is that even used for anything when determining approving your disability claim? Yes. For instance, I got a question recently about diabetes. Yeah, is diabetes a disabling condition? In the book, no, it's not but Social Security disability, or Social Security everything, exceptions. If you have, complicating conditions with the diabetes, um, or the particular medicine they give you for whatever other disabling condition, that disabling condition is not in the book as a disabling condition, let's say out of the blue, hair loss. But the medication you take because of that, makes you go to the, bathroom 20 times a day, or makes you sleepy or whatever. And because of the medication that, I'm just kind of play around with it. I couldn't think of another condition. But whatever you have, if the medication or the surgery is the reason, then that's the reason. But you say, okay, well, my disabling condition is in the book, and therefore I guess I can't get disability. But you forget about, okay, but then there's the medication that makes you do this, that, and the other, and you've got this other complicating thing that's kind of, it's part of this, but not really part of this, but it's not really that big a deal. Well, when you add this, and this, as a total package, you just might get approved. So that's why I say if you believe that your disabling condition or conditions is preventing you from working over substantial gainful activity substantially, then file for benefits. Yeah, so same answer. Anxiety and depression and a mini stroke considered disability. Yeah. I applied for Social Security benefits online. It only took about 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Was that? That's probably a regular retirement application, right? Disability should take a little bit longer. 2 months later, I got a letter that was approved. Awesome. Let's see. Ed, please don't work so much. I'm retirement happy, happy life. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Thank you. Thank you. Show I ask for the ticket to work before CDR review on what's the best. Um, I knew someone who was going to catch that. Yeah, some people do that if they're kind of paranoid. Should I say this? I have seen, let's put it this way, that people that kind of paranoid, or maybe they can work, and so the CDR is coming up, and they think maybe might be a good chance they might get kicked off, so they join the ticket to work so they don't have to go through the CDR, and they kind of delay. But I am not saying one thing or another about anything like that. Thank you. Appreciate you. Much appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you all. This is the reason, again, as I always say, I can just sit here like an idiot, like my old Marine Corps drill instructor used to beat into us all the time. You're all idiots, all the Marines. And I can sit here like an idiot all day long and talk to this camera, sit here and talk to this camera, but it helps zero people. It helps nobody unless y'all share and like and subscribe, because we're all essentially, you know, uh, slaves to the algorithm. If the computer algorithm had a heart, the computer algorithm on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, it would say, okay, this cat video is really popular. People love cat videos. So the computer says, I'm going to send this cat video out to more people. But if the computer's algorithms had a heart, they would say, okay, here's a cat video, which are cool. And here's Ed and all his people out here that are always supporting him, going out there and trying to help people that are struggling and get people the help they need, and make their life a little bit easier. The computer algorithm, if it had a heart, which it doesn't, it would say, let's forget about the cat video right now. This seems like more important, so let's send this out to more people. But unfortunately, that's the reality we live in, controlled by computers. If you have serious things that you need help, he has a site that you can get help. Yeah, my son is redoing the kind of the website. I did the kind of the playlist thing, but didn't work out very well. Seemed people like the live Q&A, so that's why I'm kind of moving to the live Q&A and a bunch of short videos to answer short little questions. So, let's see. Terry Kim, can you explain the split spouse strategy again? My husband is 2 years older and want to take it at 70, and me take it at 62. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so you got a husband and spouse currently married, and the higher earning spouse wants to keep working or delay their benefits until they're full retirement age, or 70 years old. And the lower earning spouse benefit amount is less than half. So what they do is the lower earning spouse goes ahead and file for benefits on their own record and starts getting that money, at 62, 63, earliest as possible. And then when the higher earning spouse files for benefits, then the lower earning spouse files a spouse claim. So if you're eventually entitled to $1,000, let's say as a spouse on the higher earning, so you're entitled to $1,000 on that. if you collect your benefits at 62 and let's say you get $200, you'll get $800 from there. If you wait a year and get $300 on your own, you'll get $700. So regardless what happens when your higher earning spouse files for benefits, you're going to get $1,000. So why wait a year, to get a little bump, or 2 years to get a little bump when you're missing all those checks? So what a lot of people do is they do that split strategy. The lower earning spouse, just go ahead and start getting those checks and start getting that money coming in. And again, as always, I don't talk about taxes, IRS. If the extra $200 puts you over and get you another bracket, and now you have to pay $400, and say, Ed told me to file early, and now I have to pay more IRS. So take that into consideration. But yeah, that's basically the split strategy. So you'll file 3 applications, the 2 of you. You'll do a retirement application on your own, get your benefits started early as possible, start getting that money in there. You're still limited to the amount of money, your earnings, $22,320. But when the higher earning spouse files for benefits, then once they file for benefits, they hand the phone to you and you file for spouse benefits on their record. And if you do that when when you are your full retirement age, then you get half of their full benefit amount. And if they wait until 70, they get those delayed retirement credits, an extra 24%. You don't get that while they're alive. Current spouses do not get delayed retirement credits. When that person passes away, you do get those delayed retirement credits. So, all right, let's see here. Let me know if that isn't a clear enough explanations. All right. He reminds you of the Social Security Encyclopedia. Remember those old books? I love those when I was a kid. Was it Encyclopedia Brown? Yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers those. Little story and kind of the detective type thing. Norma X was approved for survivor benefits in November, also SSDI in May. Now my online account shows I owe different amounts at different dates with the same month. You owe different amounts. You're going to get different amounts, hopefully. Yeah, probably because your survivor benefits comes on, it's basically 2 checks. So it's called a dual entitlement. So you're entitled for, the survivor benefits, and that pays at a different kind of cycle probably. And then there's the SSDI, the disability part. So you basically get 2 different checks. Talk about unsuccessful work attempts. How does Social Security look at that? Yeah, so a lot of that happens is when you're first applying for disability. And let's say you stop working and then you walk into the Social Security Administration office and you go ahead and apply for benefits. And then, Social Security takes, 6 to 9 months to get your initial decision. And then during that time, you try to work. And you go over SGIE for a month or 2. And you're like, oh my gosh, Social Security, that's going to, they're going to deny my application. No, they can actually write it off as an unsuccessful work attempt, where you you file for disability because you weren't working and didn't look like you could ever work again, but you did. Social Security actually likes that. Judges really like this. If you ever have to go to a judge, you say, hey, I'm just not looking for a free hand, and I pushed myself. And I even tried, after I filed the application, I needed to pay the rent. And so I went and worked for a month or 2, but I was unsuccessful. And that's what an unsuccessful work attempt is. Take and took. I don't think you've asked a question here. So welcome. What about a young adult with mental illness who has never worked? If the young adult gets a low stress job earning a small income, would that make him ineligible for disability? Absolutely not. So yeah, if you a young person that is not entitled to Social Security disability, SSDI, they might very well be eligible for SSI, the welfare-based program. And because it's a welfare-based program, their income and resources. So if this young person has, a trust from their family for, $20,000, $1 million in the bank, then obviously they can't get SSI. But yeah, tell them to and this is what we really need y'all's help out there. I have found, doing this for a few decades, people with physical issues, when they file and they follow through and they go to the if the consultative exam and go see a Social Security doctor, and they respond to letters and everything like that, and they get they go through the process and get approved or denied or whatever, and if they get denied, they appeal the process. But people with mental issues, we really need to help them out. So if you know anybody like this, you know, reach out to them and say, "Hey, I heard you file for disability, and so, you know, have they sent you any letters and wanting to?" "Oh yeah, there's a letter been sitting there for 2 weeks, but I'm kind of scared to open it. Stress and anxiety, whatever the case may be, or I don't understand it." Yeah, those people really need our help. So please, 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 if you know anybody, like that, grab them. If you got questions, come to one of the lives, sit down and ask the question together with that person, and yeah, help them follow through. Social Security employees really should, but they just have too much of a workload. So yeah, anything you can do to help out your community, family, neighbors, anything like that would, yeah, really appreciate it. Have a dilemma because of a medical conditions and the need for very good health insurance, suffering work still, making condition work, but I'm afraid to stop. Almost 61, have short-term and limited disability with job. Yeah, health insurance in this country is just a nightmare. People forced to do stuff that's bad for their body so they can keep health insurance to take care of their body, but at the same time they're destroying their body. Yeah, um, so yeah, once it comes to that time where you just can't work anymore, and that's another problem I have, is if you're approved for disability, your Medicare doesn't start for 2 years, and that's just seems like the stupidest thing ever. Because if you have a disability, then you have a disability. You need to see doctors. So I don't know why they, make you wait for 2 years. You still have availability of, the Affordable Care Act, Marketplace, Obamacare, and they can't deny you for pre-existing conditions and everything like that. So there's that, and you can, get subsidies and cost sharing. All right, let's see what other questions here. Mm, all right. Mental exam. All right. 65 in August. I'm 64, still working and getting an annuity from my deceased husband. How does that figure in SSI? So, yeah, I'm sure you mean Social Security, not SSI. SSI is the welfare-based program. So if you're 64 and getting an annuity from your deceased husband, so the annuity, I guess that's not Social Security, not getting surviving spouse benefits. Um, yeah, so you're getting Social Security or an annuity from. But yeah, if you have a deceased husband and you are working, but your work is below the $22,320, then you can get surviving spouse benefits if your marriage qualifies. Does a 401k count as income when you start collecting Social Security before full retirement age? No, it does not. That is unearned income. Please explain the difference between SSDI and SSI. Can you get both? Currently on SSDI only. Yes. SSDI is Social Security Disability Insurance, which you pay your, FICA taxes and all that kind of stuff. That you paid your 10 years, 40 quarters. SSI is the welfare-based program for people that are disabled or aged, 65 or older. And you can get both. But if you get over, $950, basically $943 from your SSDI, then you can't get SSI. So, but if you get $200, $300, $400 from your SSDI, you can possibly get SSI if you don't have any other income or resources or anything like that, because it is a welfare-based program. How does Social Security calculate survivor benefits? I retired early and they're receiving benefits than me. So yeah, survivor benefits, there are so many exceptions, yeah, so many variables. But basically, if your um, spouse, qualifying spouse that you had to be married to for at least 9 months, if you were married when they passed, or divorced and married at least 10 years, then if they weren't receiving any benefits, then you could get up to 100% of their full benefit amount once you hit your full retirement age. You can get more than that if they filed after their full retirement benefit amount, their delayed retirement credits. If they filed early, then you get a reduction as well. And if you file early, there's another reduction. So anytime you take money from Social Security, there is reductions. All right, so we're at hour and 10 minutes. And let me do three more questions, and then we'll call it a day. M again. Let's see here. What about when doing ticket to work and having unsuccessful work? That's what I should have asked. Yeah. Um, yeah. Once your benefits start, they don't really do the unsuccessful work attempts, because you've got the trial work period, so that triggers the trial work period. Meant to say you can get SSI and SSDI at the same time. Sorry. Yep. You can get both of those at the same time. What if you have worked and you get approved for SSI? I got approved for SSI. Good. Yeah. So, yep, SSI is the welfare-based program. Again, you can get a maximum $943. Let's see. Hello from Georgia. Hey, what's up? Someone said to me that you cannot get SSDI and work. Explain, please. No, just watch the first 17 minutes of the video I did, and it explains everything about working. I have an 18-year-old son with Down syndrome who won't be able to work. When my husband retires and takes Social Security, what percent of my husband's Social Security will my son receive as a DAC, disabled adult child? 50%. Up to 50%. If there's anybody on the record, then there's a family max involved. Actually, I'm going to do a video on family max here this week, I think. Yeah, 50% of the parent's primary insurance amount. Where do we find the list of conditions eligible for SSDI? Yeah, there's a red book online that gives you all that. On SSDI, if I watch your YouTube videos and YouTube shorts and get paid $1,300 a day for watching any kind of, how do you get paid $1,300 a day for watching my YouTube videos? Yeah, I think I saw a comment about something like that, asking about that. And number one, I want to find out how you get paid $1,300 for watching videos. And yeah, I'd watch my own. Well, I don't think I'd watch it. I'd probably watch it with the camera off. But I don't know if I can deal watching my face. But $1,300, I might force myself to do it. So I have no idea. It's, the young adult with mental illness is currently being supported by his elderly mother. His father is deceased. Oh, his father is deceased. Okay, yeah. So let's see. I know, yeah. The Linda's like, you can get paid for watching YouTube? Yeah. Sign us up. Yeah, let us know about that. Do you think somebody would get approved for constant tingling in the foot? Can't stand for more than an hour? Again, it doesn't hurt to try. All they can do is say no. I think it's someone says a joke. Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Getting paid $1,300 to watch videos. When your spouse passes, do you get his and no longer get yours? Yeah, when you're married and your spouse passes away, this is, yeah, it's a good thing you asked it. I should kind of say this every now and then, at least once or twice a week, because so many people plan and they plan incorrectly. You have a husband and wife, and let's say the husband is the higher wage earner, and the wife says, well, when he passes away, I heard I will get his check, and I'm getting $600 and he's getting $1,000. So we're getting $1,600 coming into the house. So when he passes, I think I can live on $1,600. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. When the husband passes, how much did I say? $1,500. $1,500, thousand. Let's make it $1,000. $1,000. She will get 1,000. She will get that $1,000 if she's her full retirement age. She'll get that $1,000, but minus her own. So she was getting $600. She will continue to get her $600 check plus another $400 to bring it up to his benefit amount. So the total benefit amount in the house will no longer be $1,600. It'll be $1,000. So unfortunately, a lot. Again, please subscribe, like, comment, share. So I know there's hundreds of thousands of people out there that are planning on that, and because I've seen it when people my Tuesday 9 o'clock appointment was a survivor's claim, and the widow came in there, and I told them, okay, here's how much you're going to get, and they said, well, I'll get mine too, right? Yeah, no, you'll get that one minus your own. I'm like, yeah, it's devastating. So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this now, to get the information out before, since Social Security does a terrible job getting that information out. So that's why I need y'all. I'm going to come up with a flyer. I think I need to do a flyer that I don't know if any good graphic artists out there. I need to come up with a flyer. Is your Social Security checking correct? Do you need help? Or on Social Security, disability, survivor, spouse benefits? Do you have questions? Join my live Q&A, and that way, I make up a flyer. I can send it to y'all. Y'all can print it out and paper the town. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to get to work on that one. Any graphic artists out there, please help. Does collecting workers' comp affect you if you want to collect SSI? If SSI, yes. With SSI, any money coming in will affect your SSI. Your SSDI, not necessarily. If it's just a regular private workers' comp, then it doesn't affect your SSDI at all. If it's a public disability, like a state or a county or city disability, public disability workers' comp type thing, yes, it does affect your SSDI. I own an LLC partnership. How do I calculate wages for SSDI? It can be 0 to 100%, mine or my husband. Yeah. So there's that. I'm not, yeah. Yeah, with LLCs and but I will, you kind of understand. I think you already know your answer, but I will warn you on this. It's not really related. I guess it's related to people that husband and wives that have companies. Here's what happens. Husband and wife has a company, and they do their taxes, and the tax advisor, whoever, accountant, knows the IRS, but they're not great on Social Security. The money coming in for the IRS, the net profits, they give to the husband and wife, no problem. But that profit, let's say it's $100,000 profit, then the accountant just puts it on one Social Security number. So let's say the wife is, that's her business, her company, and her husband works for, it's kind of together, but it's primarily her company. So the accountant puts that $100,000 on her Social Security number. So she pays FICA taxes on it. So when she goes to retire 20, 30, 40 years later, she's good. She's, paid into Social Security. She's going to get a nice retirement. If she becomes disabled, she'll get a nice disability and everything like that. But the accountant didn't put any money on him. So 20, 30 years later, if they get divorced, 20, 30, 40 years later, he goes to file for retirement and there's nothing there. So if you don't get divorced, then you can file for spouse benefits, but it depends on the age and stuff like that. So a lot of kind of variables, but a lot of people don't realize that until it's too late. So if you have a husband and wife LLC, corporation, anything like that, then please Think about that next time you do your taxes. All right. Let's do one more for someone I have never seen here before. Small coffee. Speaking of coffee, I need coffee. On SSDI, paying a penalty for late Medicare enrollment. Yeah. When you reach FRA and new enrollment period to traditional Medicare, will the penalty still be in place? Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, if you miss your date for applying for Medicare, then yeah, you'll be penalized for the rest of your life, unfortunately. So watch my video I did on disability. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday. There's one thing you need to do once you do hit 62, 65 when you're on disability, and one of those involves Medicare. So watch the video I did. Let's get another one that's never asked a question. Ron Harris, please remove former Marine from your total. There's no such thing. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, once a Marine, always a Marine. Yeah, once knocked in the head a few thousand times, you're always knocked in the head. Dropped as a baby when you're anyway. So yeah, yeah, it's such a culture. All right, that's a good way to end it for today. Thank you all for helping out, and I will be back tomorrow. And so, if you got any questions, yeah, that hurts that I wasn't able to see your questions before. So yeah, so I guess just prepare, and then when we go live, pop your questions in there immediately as soon as we go live, and I will get you all set up. Y'all have yourself